In a world of wrestling, WSN looks to bring you the greatest of wrestling entertainment.
It's Sunday. You know what that means. It's time for the wrestling news. I am Mike V from the Wrestling Society Network, and this is the Wrestling Society News. Make sure that you are subscribed to all of WSN's social platforms and head on over to Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, or Apple TV and download this beautiful app behind me today. It's the Netflix of wrestling, folks. Amazing wrestling content that everyone can enjoy, that you are not going to want to miss out on. And hey, we have a lot of great stories to cover this week, so without further ado, why don't we just get to that news, huh? This one, not such a great story, though. We want to start off with a cancer diagnosis. Jim Ross has confirmed a colon cancer diagnosis. The 73-year-old posted this news on his social media platform and expressed his gratitude to all of the fans. Ross took to Twitter and said, "Diagnosed this week with colon cancer. Surgery being scheduled in the next week or two. I appreciate your concern and support." Man, yeah, we've known that JR throughout the years has been suffering from different diagnoses here and there. I believe that one was a cancer diagnosis before, but not as severe as this, especially in his age. For many of us, Jim Ross was the voice of some of our childhood into our adulthood. Obviously, he hasn't been on AEW in quite some time, even though he was the lead broadcaster when they started. Man, we just want to wish JR the best right now with this colon cancer diagnosis and the surgery coming up. JR, we are all praying for you, sending good vibes your way. Hope that everything will work out for you in the end. On to another update, medical update here. Jake the Snake Roberts is providing a medical update on his health following heart surgery. As reported by PWMania.com, WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts was scheduled to have heart ablation surgery on this past Monday, and it looks like everything turned out good. The current AEW signed manager went to his Twitter or X account and updated his fans on his health as he wrote, "I am out of surgery, recovering well, and feeling good. Appreciate everyone who prayed and gave their words of encouragement. Back in action again soon. #trust me." Always love to see Jake doing good. Man, what an incredible journey he's been on in his life. Through him being with DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, and doing the DDP yoga, to everything else that he's had to do over the years. This heart surgery was just another obstacle. Looked like he is doing well and is going to recover from that, so that is good to hear. Please send Jake the Snake Roberts any good vibes his way via his Twitter account. As he said, he always loves hearing the appreciation sent back to him. Moving on now, we have appearances coming up. Elena Black and Priscilla Kelly and their indie appearances. If you didn't know, Elena Black and Priscilla Kelly are set to star in these upcoming indie events following their WWE releases. So last couple weeks ago, we did state that WWE did some mass releases. And of course, if you don't know, Elena Black is the former Cora Jade and Priscilla Kelly is the former Gigi Dolan. Following their time in WWE as Cora Jade and Gigi Dolan, they both will be heading back to the independent scene. Priscilla Kelly, formerly known as Dolan, is scheduled to compete in 2 independent wrestling shows for different promotions next month. Pro Wrestling Revolver has announced that Kelly will make her debut at their Cage of Horrors event on Saturday, June 14th at the Horizon Event Center in Clive, Iowa. And additionally, Kelly is also set to debut for Absolute Intense Wrestling at their Cash Rules Everything Around Me event on Saturday, June 21st at the Tadmor Shrine in Akron, Ohio. Good to see Gigi getting some dates back there, but also additionally, the former Cora Jade will compete in Black Label Pro Wrestling at their Have You Heard event on Saturday, June 14th at Crown Antique Mall in Crown Point, Indiana. This will be Black's first match in their promotion since 2020. No information is current on who her opponent will be. To add to that, Gigi Dolan will be facing her current fiance at the June 14th event. Great to see Cora Jade and Gigi Dolan, of course, Priscilla Kelly and Elena Black getting some dates. Knew that these two amazing, wonderful ladies and performers would be getting those dates in. Hope to see more of them in the independent scene before they either sign with maybe a TNA or an AEW, or maybe they want to just do the independent scene like they used to. But two amazing talents. Glad that they are getting some work. On to our next story. Current TNA president Carlos Silva clarifies the company's new rule on blood usage. So it was reported a couple weeks ago that TNA was going to nix a lot of the blood. However, TNA president Carlos Silva addressed the various topics during an interview with Sports Illustrated's The Takedown, focusing on importance of being mindful of how blood usage could affect potential partners and advertisers. You would have to think that he's going to say that, especially being partnered with WWE now and TKO, who is very heavily involved in the stock trade and the partners market. Makes a lot of sense that they would want to do that. But he did clarify that intentional bleeding is not completely banned. He emphasized the need for talent to use it more sparingly is what the discussion had arose backstage. And it all came from the barbed wire massacre match at TNA Unbreakable, where the locker room was encouraged to minimize excessive brutality. Silva mentioned that other members of the TNA creative team, including Tommy Dreamer, fully support this initiative, which is kind of odd. It's Tommy Dreamer, ECW, but hey, you know. Silva went on to state that he and the creative team believe that the talents are on board with the intention of savoring the bloody moments for big time matches and using it more sparsely throughout the time. Look, I mean, if we're going to talk about blood, we can talk about Jon Moxley getting hit with an elbow and bleeding excessively. It's some people's cup of tea. It's some people's not cup of tea. If you're looking solely for investment partners, absolutely, you probably don't want to have a lot of blood. But if you're a hardcore wrestling fan, hey, a lot of the sickos want the blood. So we'll see how they balance it out. TNA has had blood usage throughout their entire history. You got to think of that's just kind of how the Barbed Wire Massacre went, Full Metal Mayhem, a couple of the other ones that it just is prominent with TNA and what TNA was, but they are not what they used to be. So we'll see how much that's going to be. Just to add, Silva also expressed the concerns regarding the health of talent who participate in the violent matches. This was actually following Macklin's injury, where he suffered significant blood loss with the incident of the dog collar match with Eric Young. So can't disagree there. Use it how you want to, but we'll see what happens. Moving on, this is some really exciting news for independent wrestling and in the independent wrestling scene. Paramount is launching a new fast channel called Wrestling Central, featuring WOW and the NWA. That's Women of Wrestling and the National Wrestling Alliance, presented by Billy Corgan. Paramount Global Content Distribution is launching an all-wrestling fast channel called Wrestling Central, coming soon on the Roku channel in the US and Canada. The new channel will feature new weekly matches from Women of Wrestling and the National Wrestling Alliance, respectively WOW and NWA, along with an extensive library of content, including classic episodes, never-before-seen matches, and specials and documentaries. I think that's the cool part here. We're going to be getting some original content from both WOW and the NWA. Look, NWA has been on this rocky road ever since they came back. I enjoy the NWA. I enjoy what Billy Corgan did over there, what he was trying to do, bringing back the studio style of wrestling, especially in the 2020s. Really cool to see. Kind of cool to see what they're going to end up doing with this app and what that's going to look like. But this is just great news for wrestling all around. Plus, I believe WOW has a lot of library, and being an all women's promotion, promoting that. I think that's amazing. I think that's awesome what they're trying to accomplish there by getting on this app and getting on this network. That library is going to be stacked with amazing stuff. So keep your eye out for Paramount launching this app via the Roku channel. You're not going to want to miss out. It's going to be some great independent wrestling. Next story, Mariah May shares a cryptic message. Top AEW star and former AEW Women's World Champion Mariah May recently shared a cryptic message on her Instagram stating, "Finally, someone let me out of my cage." Previous reports suggested that May is in the final year of her AEW contract, which is rumored to expire this November. She hasn't appeared on AEW programming since her loss to Toni Storm in the Hollywood ending match at Revolution 2025 in March, which was an incredible match. Thought the two had an amazing end to their story. Probably top rivalry of the year for me, May and Storm, just having those amazing bouts from All In to this one at Revolution to just the interaction between the both of them. It was just amazing storytelling. Look, who knows? Maybe AEW can turn things around, re-sign Mariah. You definitely don't want to let her go. But I think Mariah has made her intentions clear that she wants to go to the WWE. And who's to say that's the best choice? Who's to say it's not? I think it's going to be fun wherever she shows up because she's an amazing talent and needs to be treated as such. Kind of weird that she hasn't been on AEW TV. You'd have to think that Tony is keeping her off because that's kind of the unspoken word of she's going to go to WWE. We don't know. We don't know how to do this, interpret this cryptic message just quite yet. But I guess we'll have to stay tuned and see. On to the final part of our news here. And obviously the big story coming out of the week. The wrestling world lost Sabu last week. Sabu, or Terry Brunk, gave the world just amazing extreme wrestling. And this part of the news, I don't want to get too much into the politics of it. I don't want to get too much into what happened. We don't even know the cause of death yet. I do want to do my due diligence and report this to you as far as why we may not have heard anything of the cause of death of Sabu yet. Rob Van Dam on his One of a Kind podcast with Taz has given an update. I'm just going to read the quotes to you and then we'll kind of move past this. But RVD on his podcast said, "I can tell you right now they are not and have not released the cause of death yet. It's 100% fact. And check this out. Guess who's got the authority to make the decision? It's Hitomi, which is Sabu's wife, who they were not divorced yet." He goes on to say, "They never got the official divorce, so we need her signature for several things. I don't want to get too personal on what the holdup is, but it's everything, and part of that everything is the cause of death." Just wanted to get that report out there as why we may not have heard the cause of death. This is coming from Rob Van Dam, who we know is a very close personal friend of Sabu. But for this, I kind of want to just go ahead and give kind of my memories of Sabu here to end the news. Sabu passed away on Sunday, May 11th. And just weeks after his retirement match during the WrestleMania 41 weekend at GCW with Joey Janela. Look, I didn't start watching professional wrestling until 2002, late 2002, right? I got in probably right around that time. And then in early 2004, I found this cool promotion on the FSN channel late at night. They had like a little bar of things that were going on. They were hitting people with chairs. They had this thing called the X Division, filled with just cool things called Total Nonstop Action TNA Wrestling. And one of the first shows that I saw was this big monster of a man in a mask who looked like Kane. I'm like, what is this? Who was in the ring with James Mitchell, and lights went out, and who appears but this guy pointing to the sky, throwing a chair at Abyss. And I had fallen in love with Sabu, the character, from that moment. I loved watching Sabu in TNA, and I never even knew what ECW was during the time. And once I found out who Sabu was, came with the ECW crossover, was one day he just stopped appearing on TNA. I'm like, what's going on? And when WWE relaunched WWE ECW, Sabu showed up. I was pissed. I was legitimately mad because I'm like, what are you doing, Sabu? You're a TNA guy. Same thing when Monty Brown showed up as Marcus Corvan and all the rest. But he showed up And that's actually when I like really learned about ECW from the ECW One Night Stand with his match with Rey Mysterio. I got to go back. I had a friend that had a bunch of old ECW tapes. I looked up everything I possibly could on the internet at the time and really saw Sabu and really fell in love with hardcore wrestling at the time. And just kind of followed that through. I thought his match with John Cena was amazing. It was captivating to me. But I think that is the thing about Sabu that was amazing, was the captivation that he gave. He gave his body. You saw the scars on his body when he performed. You saw him give his all every time that he performed for us. And when he came back out at AEW to be at Adam Cole's corner, I marked out, hearing the song, his amazing theme song, however rendition you want to put it at. I mean, the heavy drums, the heavy guitar line, the saxophone. I mean, you heard that, it just made you know that there was something special about this character, Sabu. Obviously a tortured individual, but one of the kindest. I think that we heard that if you watched AEW Dynamite, Taz talking about him and tearing up. The man was an enigma and was just phenomenal to watch. So I wanted to end the news remembering the best of Sabu and the amazing performer that he was. There will never, ever in the history or in the future of professional wrestling come another character like there was the one Sabu. That's going to do it for our news.